Hey YouTubers, this is Rob Moffat. Good morning. There's about 10 reasons I like the Vitamix 3600 I bought a couple months ago. These are the reasons. The first one is I think it's an excellent prepper tool for people who put away food for storage and who want to have a good tool that they can use. A lot of people, when they have storage, they have powdered milk in their storage because it keeps for a very long time. It's inexpensive and there's a ton of protein in it. If you have a Vitamix 3600, you can make the best creamed soups in the whole world for very few ingredients. You just use your powdered milk, so a little bit of oil, a couple tablespoons of flour, and any vegetables you have, and you can make the best creamed soup you ever tasted. I've been experimenting with different vegetables, and I haven't found a single one yet that doesn't make excellent cream soup. I haven't seen very many people mention this feature of the Vitamix, and I think it's one of the best. You can turn very low-cost vegetables, if you grow them yourself, free with just some powdered milk, a little flour, oil, and you make super good food. Very nutritious. Another thing for preppers is it can grind grains. I haven't done that yet, but unlike other blenders, it can grind grains. So I think it's an excellent tool for preppers or anybody who wants to save money by making their own food or on a budget. If you use this Vitamix to make your own food, you can make a ton of very low-cost food with this blender. The second reason I like it is compared to new, it's very low cost. This cost me just a tiny bit over $100. So I saved quite a bit of money and I still have an excellent Vitamix blender, even though it's not the latest edition. The third reason I like it is, from what I've read online, is you can trade this in with Vitamix and get a $100 rebate towards your new one. So even if this would break and I couldn't fix it, it'd be worth $100 as parts just to give it to Vitamix as a trade-in for a new one. The fourth reason I like it is the reliability. I've read review after review of owners who've had theirs for over 30 years and they're still working fine. And I've noticed this thing, it's built like a tank. I really think it'll outlast me. So from a reliability point of view, it's something that I'm really happy to have. I see so many other people have blenders and a couple years later they got to buy a new one. I don't see this happening with the Vitamix. I talked to the Vitamix company. I think they've made several million of these Vitamixes, not this particular model, but all told. And I think they have about 4 people in their maintenance department. The fifth reason, stainless parts. I don't particularly like making my food in plastic if I can help it. The sixth reason is there's so many parts available at Vitamix. They don't make all the parts anymore since they don't make this model. But they do have a lot of parts, and you can get a lot of parts on eBay. So I was worried about that, but not anymore. The seventh reason is you can heat and cook in it. I thought this was a stupid idea when I bought it. I didn't think I would ever use this feature of the Vitamix. Why would I heat inside a blender or cook inside a blender? But since I've been making the soups and some other things like the custards and sauces, the fact that you can heat inside the container, because as a blade spins, it heats up, but it goes so fast, it heats up the liquid inside. What I do is I add the boiling liquid into the blender, so I give it a head start so it doesn't have to blend as long. But heating inside the container actually worked out really good for a lot of different things. The eighth reason, it has a little spout. It lets me taste stuff as I'm cooking while it's blending. This is another thing I thought was stupid. Why would I do that? It's just something that would be hard to clean, and I'd never use it. But the first time I was making a sauce, and I added the material in, and it didn't taste that good. It was some flour to thicken it up, and it just made like a flour taste to the liquid. But as it heated and continued to blend and cook, the taste changed, and I could actually tell the taste was changing as it was cooking. And so I got to where I could add ingredients while it was cooking inside the container, and I could taste what was happening as I was cooking. So instead of just heating stuff up, I felt like I was actually cooking. Because ordinarily with a blender, you'd have to stop it and take the top off and then put something down inside. With this, you can just turn on the blender, open up the valve, and a little bit comes out while you're cooking it. You can taste it. It's a really cool item. I like the little spout. Also, it comes apart easy to clean. It's not that hard at all. Another reason is number 9. I think it's a very smooth blender. I get stuff blended smoother than any other blender I've tried. And the 10th reason I like it, it just looks cool. Action Dome. I like it. It's very retro. I mean, it's like several decades old, and it's still ticking. I love it. Now, there's a couple things still that more than 10 is that they have a lot of great recipes online and in books. I got a couple books. The one I liked the most was the plain one, the Vitamix 3600 Whole Food Cookbook. It had a more broader range of recipes. The Delicious Blends book, it was for the professional demonstrator guide. To me, it wasn't as helpful. But there's a ton of recipes online. People have been using these things for decades. So there's a lot of help out there, guys. The two things I didn't like, it's very noisy. I ended up using some headphones around it because if you're cooking with it, you're going to be standing right next to it. The other thing I didn't like about it is I made some custards, and they were delicious. Also extremely easy, and they were the best custards I ever tasted. Unfortunately, when you add the raw eggs to the custard, I kept getting a little bit sick, and the only thing I could think of is I was eating the custards, and when I didn't eat them, I wasn't getting sick. And it didn't happen, but it was intermittent. It didn't happen each time. So I know if the egg isn't heated to, I think it's over 108 degrees, you could still have some salmonella and other problems with the eggs. And I think it might have been the custard. I'd like to know what other people think, if they've had any problems making the custard with raw eggs in their Vitamix. But it made the best custard I ever had in my life. I was trying all different things too, and it was exciting. It was fun to make different things with the custards. But I might just make the custard and use it as a filling in pies and bake them. But that's the only two things I could think about that I didn't like. The Vitamix, I've been very happy with it. I would recommend this highly. Anyone wants a nice thing to have in the kitchen to mess around with to really save on money, it's something they want to look into. Hope this little video helps everybody. And I add new videos every week. Y'all come back if you like the video, and I'll try to have more videos you like in the future. Thanks, everybody.